We're back talking with Dr. Wells, and we're doing part 2 of our school safety series, and Dr. Wells is going to talk about staff training.
Sure. Thank you, Chris. We've had staff training going on, and it will continue for the rest of this academic year. Why would we do staff training around the issues of school safety? Well, there's a couple of reasons. First of all, state statute does require that the board have safety plans, and we obviously need to train our staff in what those safety plans are. Also, it's necessary not just to train people, but to retrain people. As we mentioned in the first part of our series, people come and go through organizations, and we want to make sure that we're up to date on those. So we have been doing some staff training, started off prior to the academic year, starting with our staff as they returned, and we'll continue that throughout the rest of this academic year. And difficult for us to get all of our groups trained at once with so few days and so much to do. But we do have safety plans in every single building, and it's important for staff not only to know the context of what's in those safety plans, but some other concepts that they can keep and be aware of as well. So if we start out a little bit about why we would train staff, there are many types of emergencies that can happen inside a school building every day. Our buildings are filled not with just static. In other words, it isn't the same thing every day. You can plan your day and it may be completely different than what you planned on. It's a very dynamic, rich environment that happens. And within those environments, just as an example, there might be we refer to it as a medical emergency, but it could be a medical need. We may have a child or even an adult, for example, who has an allergic reaction, or somebody who didn't, for whatever reason, didn't get their proper medications, or other types of medical emergencies. When we have those, we do usually do a soft lockdown. And the purpose of that is to make sure that if and when we call emergency medical services or EMS, that their halls are clear, and also to protect the confidentiality and rights of anyone who may be involved, the person who's actually having the emergency. So those types of things can happen anytime within our school system. We want to make sure that both our veteran and new staff are equally trained on that. There are some other things that we talk about a lot beyond fire drills, beyond those types of things. If you have an adult in the building whom you don't know, how do you approach that adult? If they're sort of wandering around the building, what should I do? Who should I talk to? Who do I call first? If there's an emergency in my classroom, who do I call first? Do I call the office? Do I call 911? What are my responses, and how can I best work to meet the needs of my students that are in front of me? We like to think about how do staff who aren't involved in the emergent situation, how do they address that with the children that are in their classrooms during this? So, for example, if you're in a building with older students and you do a soft lockdown, students might know, okay, this is something that is either a medical emergency or some other type of emergent situation, but how do you address that with younger students? So they talk about those types of things. We also talk about with staff even identifying, like if you see something, say something. If you're unsure of how an adult is responding, then tell someone, tell the building principal basically that I'm concerned about this, or it made me feel threatened, or those types of things when we see those types of behaviors. So there's a lot that goes into our training for our staff. It's pretty organized, and then we'll come back around, and when new people are hired, we have a responsibility to also train those people, sort of this keep up with it type of schedule. So we've talked about how we look at our buildings. We also have to, of course, as I mentioned earlier, these are buildings filled with people, and people are important in our process. So we are conducting trainings throughout the school district.
Thank you, Dr. Wells.